Today on Monkey Life, Chimp Kiki finally arrives at the park after a mammoth journey from the Middle East.
Excellent job! What a good girl!
There's exciting news at the Gibbon house.
At the moment, she's just sitting up there sunbathing, trying to get the baby nice and warm.
And Paddy the peacemaker has his hands full at bedtime. Monkey World in Dorset is home to more than 240 monkeys and apes and is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. Dr. Alison Cronin and her team rescue and rehabilitate primates from all over the world.
The monkey's gotten really aggressive and has started self-mutilating.
At Beirut Airport in Lebanon, Alison and the team have time for one last check on Chimp Kiki before she's loaded onto the plane for the flight back to the UK. Kiki has been given a light sedation to keep her calm throughout her journey.
Yeah, she's just sat in the back of the box looking out. Looking really good, actually.
Kiki has led a very lonely life in Beirut. For years, she's been kept locked in a small cage at the side of a road. After a lot of delicate negotiations, her owners finally agreed to let Alison rehome her at Monkey World. It's been a difficult rescue, as the door of the cage had rusted closed, and Kiki had to be fully anaesthetised before Jeremy could get her out.
Let's give it a once over.
The team are always anxious about putting animals in a cargo hold of a plane, as they never know how they'll react. They're trying to reassure Kiki by staying with her as long as possible.
Good girl. Looks really nice in there. Really pleased as punch. Hey, we're about to head out, and they've allowed us to come down and check on her, so we're just going to get her on board the plane, and then we're off to London. So, job well done for everybody, because this hasn't been an easy one. It's been really tricky, but we're finally there. Can't be happier.
Jeremy has given Kiki plenty of food and water for the flight. Now all they can do is wait. This is the last time they'll see her before they land. The journey from Lebanon to Heathrow in the UK will take more than 5 hours. And when the plane finally touches down in London, the ground staff waste no time in unloading the live cargo. As with all animals that arrive in the UK, Kiki and her documentation will have to be thoroughly checked out in the airport's Animal Reception Centre before she's allowed to carry on to the park.
We will health check the animal, and we'll check the paperwork relating to that animal in order for any animal to clear customs, and that's purely to ensure that there's a registered point of entry for Kiki, so that if any time in the future she's got a record that she was legally accepted into the UK.
Looks like she's had a pretty good journey, all wrapped up in her blanket, and it's, you know, it's a 5-hour flight or so, but I think she's ready to get out, so we'll get things moving. Got to get the paperwork done here, and Jeremy can hang out with her until we're done. No, really good trip.
Kiki will not be released until government officials are happy that all the quarantine procedures have been followed.
It's a good girl, sweetheart.
Hello, sweetie.
Pop that down there, son. You got it?
Yeah.
Hello, darling. You want some of this?
It's a relief for Jeremy to finally open the crate. He needs to make sure that she's fit and healthy after the flight.
If an animal's eating, it's an indicator that all is reasonably well.
Kiki likes the fruit, but isn't so keen on the nutritious pellets on offer.
She doesn't like those, and I don't blame her. And I'll have one now, because I'm starving. You want some of this? No, we haven't got any juice. I wonder if there's anything in that drinks machine. Is that more like it? He's a good girl. I just want to make sure she's hydrated and she doesn't look on water as being a drink. And, you know, that's, again, you know, she doesn't need to have that baptism of fire right now, this minute. I'm sure she'll evolve into drinking water, but now isn't the time or place to have some sort of discipline on that scale. Tonight, she can just camp out in a bedroom and be on her own, and then tomorrow we'll start finding friends for her.
With all the formalities completed, Kiki is ready to be loaded into the van. And with the sedation worn off, she's very interested in everything that's happening.
We're going home now, so next stop, Dorset.
For weeks now, staff have been eagerly awaiting the birth of a golden-cheeked gibbon. They knew Zoey was pregnant, but weren't sure exactly when she was due. They set up a CCTV camera in her bedroom to record the happy event, and when they arrived into work this morning, they noticed a little addition to the group.
We got a call this morning to say that they'd just seen her swinging by the camera with a little baby attached. She's doing really, really well. She's moving about. The baby is holding on really tightly, which is great. But obviously we will, throughout the day, keep a really good eye on her and make sure the baby is suckling, make sure it's still holding on tight and make sure it's doing really, really well.
Breakfast is always served outside, and today is no exception. The staff want to keep the gibbon's routine as normal as possible. Zoey and her baby follow the rest of the family into the enclosure.
She came straight out just as well as she does every other morning. She's doing really well. She went immediately to start to feed, which is a really good sign. She's obviously really nice and relaxed.
Golden-cheeked gibbons are endangered in the wild, so every birth is important.
At the moment, she's just sitting up there sunbathing, trying to get the baby nice and warm, keeping herself nice and warm. She's been grooming baby a little bit as well, so it's a really good sign. Both really nice and healthy and nice and relaxed.
Baby gibbons suckle for up to 2 years. They're born blonde, but go through a colour change from around 8 months until they're completely black. Females turn blonde again when they reach sexual maturity. It'll be a while before staff can get close enough to determine the sex of this baby. Dad Jake and daughter Kim are having to get used to the new arrival too.
With Jake, he's always been very protective, but obviously now today he's extra specially protective. He is sticking around Zoey quite a bit, but he's also giving her a good bit of space as well. Obviously, it's her first day as mum to this baby, so he is giving her a bit of room so that she can settle down into it. Little Kim now seems to be really, really inquisitive. She's just gone over to mum, see everything's all right, let her know she's still there and finding out what baby's all about. We're really excited to see it. We've been waiting for a long time, hoping this will come, and we're just really excited to see them out and about as they should be.
The park provides a home for 16 different species of primates. One of the more unusual is the cotton-top tamarins. It's feeding time for Alice and Uncas. And Toby is putting out some of their favourite insects. These two cotton tops were brought to the park after being rescued during a raid on a puppy farm in Kent in a joint operation by police and the RSPCA. The monkeys had been kept in a bird cage with very little room to move around. Since arriving at the park, they've thrived.
This enclosure gives them lots and lots of space to explore. It has lots of plants in it, lots of insects and bugs for them to catch. Obviously, that's a lot better for them than living in a small bird cage where they have very little space and no natural foliage to sort of climb around in. When they did arrive, their weights were quite low and their coats were very greasy, but they have both put on quite a lot of weight. There was even the point where we wondered if Alice was actually pregnant because she'd developed quite a good belly, but I think it's mostly through eating lots of food and lots of insects. Alice is a fairly elderly female, whereas Uncas, we think, is sort of middle-aged, really. They get vitamin D3 twice a week, which is something we give to all our marmosets and tamarinds. Basically, this is like a natural substitute for the vitamin D that they get from the sunlight. It's very important in helping to fight off bone disease and rickets. Having an outside enclosure in natural sunlight will hopefully do them a lot of good and help them avoid any sort of problems in later life.
Cotton-top tamarins are only found in Colombia and are one of the most endangered primates in the world. It's thought there may only be 1,000 of them left in the wild. It's estimated that tens of thousands of cotton-tops were exported around the world between 1960 and 1975 for use in biomedical research. In the UK, many people keep tamarins as exotic pets, but few know how to care for them. Lavar's tree-filled woolly monkey enclosure has recently undergone extensive refurbishment, and it's finally finished.
We've had it empty for a little while doing a bit of renovation work, putting some new ropes in and things. We've completely overhauled the enclosure with cargo nets, all sorts. Hopefully, when they come back in here, it'll all be quite exciting.
The woolies are keen to get outside to find out what's been going on. Lavar and adopted son Julio lead the way.
Lavar always gives it his all and tries to do a proper dominance display, testing all of the ropes, sliding along some of the hose we've put in the trees, and chest rubbing, which is scent marking to claim every little inch of hose pipe that we've put up. There's an awful lot of new ropes and hose pipes in here, so it will take him a long time to scent mark it all, but we seem to be keeping him busy. Paquita is increasingly keen to sort of strike out on her own and enjoy the food and the new shoots in the enclosure. But Isla is also increasingly independent, so she doesn't mind spending a little bit of time away from mum every now and again.
Susie, however, is not so keen on the idea of venturing out. At 38, she's the oldest woolly monkey in captivity in the world.
Susie, true to form, is a little bit more cautious. She likes to stay out of the chaos that is most of the woolly monkey group and just mosey along at the end. She seems to approve. We've got high hopes that as the summer goes on, that will be her sunbathing platform and she'll be able to bask and be nice and warm and comfortable. Julio's doing really well. He is going through a very difficult period of his life at the moment. He's doing the sort of equivalent of teenage years. He's starting to get the big dominant male muscles. His shoulders are getting bigger. He's got a very big jaw, but his moods are all over the show. Sometimes he's an absolute sweetie, and other times he's going completely bananas practicing dominance displays. He hasn't quite got the hang of it yet. Diego has done us proud today. Because he's hand-reared, he didn't have the experience of being brought into the outside enclosure by his mum, so he's had to pluck up the courage on his own. And he's shot across the enclosure. He's investigated everything. He's been up and down in the trees, and it's absolutely fantastic, and we're all over the moon for him. The little chirrups that you hear are contact calls. It's just a way of the group telling each other where they are. Everybody seems chuffed to bits with the things we've done to their enclosure. We're really happy because it's keeping them busy, keeping their minds working. And all in all, it's been really, really positive.
Every evening, staff put out clean bedding and food for the chimps to encourage them to come inside and settle down for the night. Paddy's group are always excited to find out what they've got for supper. Kathy and Clin lead the way, quickly followed by the others. Paddy takes a melon and sits next to Clin, but she moves away, not wanting to eat next to the boss. Clin was rescued from a lab and has an obsessive-compulsive nature. At feeding time, she gathers as much food as she can. The others know not to mess with her. Being the end of the day, the chimps are tired and a bit fractious. So the inevitable squabbles break out. Zoey and Hebe have had a disagreement over a melon. And leader Paddy steps in to try and calm Zoey down. But Zoe's lost it and is now upsetting Athena. Paddy has to sort her out too. This can be a busy time of day for the leader. As things calm down, Zoey and Hebe make friends again. And the chimps turn their attention to bedtime. They all know that a comfy bed is the key to a good night's sleep, so they begin to build their nests. Susie gathers blankets for her and son Bart. Gamba, meanwhile, is on a mission to gather as much wood wool as possible. He likes his bed nice and soft. But there's trouble brewing. Bart is still in a playful mood, and Hebe thinks he's about to steal her bedding. Once again, Paddy has to step in to keep the peace. As leader, it's his job to keep the group together and deal with these temper tantrums. And now Grisby is trying to pinch Kay's bed. Paddy's daughter Eddie bags one of the hammocks. In the wild, chimps bed down in a similar way, using branches and foliage to make themselves as comfortable as possible. Once Paddy's happy that everyone's sorted, he's finally ready to get some shut-eye himself. And Bart snuggles up for some sweet dreams with Mum Susie. Chimp Kiki is nearing the end of her long journey to the park. The weather isn't quite what she was used to in Lebanon, but the staff are preparing to make her arrival as comfortable and welcoming as possible. It's been an exhausting trip for the team.
How are you feeling about now? I'm feeling pretty shattered now. Yeah, that's the same way I feel.
Kiki is going to be joining Hananya's group, but the plan tonight is just to get her settled into one of the bedrooms so that she can start getting used to her new surroundings.
Hey, missus! Good girl!
The primate care staff are on hand to meet their new charge.
The box is going to be marred up to the kitchen bedrooms, which we've prepared, we've cleaned, we've got blankets and nice food and some wood wool in there, so she'll just bed down for the night. So she'll probably be able to hear the other chimps and see her into the outside enclosure, but we'll save any meetings until she's had a good night's rest.
A special plate has been bolted onto the front of the crate to allow Kiki easy access through the slide and into the house.
Yeah, we're good.
Come on, missus. Come on then. Kiki. Come on there. Here you go, sweet pea.
Yeah, you're good to close it, Cara.
Excellent job. What a good girl.
Kiki hears Hananya's group kicking off next door. They know something's going on.
You're okay. You're all right.
Alison tries to reassure the nervous newcomer.
Every time they kick off next door, it's a little bit of a shock, but she doesn't know who's on the other side of the door, so, you know, fair enough. She's going to test everything out. She's had a drink. She says hello to me, which is nice. But no, she looks good. I mean, bright as a button, really, so. All of that's a little bit intimidating for a person, but, you know, it's part of the process, and at some point in time, it's all of those noises that are going to kick a light switch in her head, and it'll all start making sense eventually. Tomorrow, we'll crack on with picking out some non-threatening females and seeing if we can bring somebody in who will be kind and nice to her, and we'll start it out slowly. But tonight, she's just going to have to live with noisy neighbors next door, and hopefully she'll just get used to it and realize it's a lot of bluster and that nothing's happening for tonight.
Next time on Monkey Life, Kiki has a warm welcome from Patricia.
We'll leave these guys and hope that she's not bald by tomorrow.
And overweight O'Sheen has a special visitor.
Oh, my goodness. Here's Mummy. Hi.